What's popping? I'm back and shit with a little video. I ain't did a video in a minute, but so this video topic is on the misconception of the ego, right? And how I just see so much of people talking about how to destroy the ego, how to get rid of the ego, kill the ego, and I remember that not quite sitting totally right with my soul. And so I did some soul searching on what ego truly is, what it means, what it look like, and if it's truly necessary that we need to kill ego. And I came to the conclusion, along with just living life, um, going to the underworld for wisdom and coming back to the light with this shit. Downloads and messages from spirit, from my higher self, and from my ancestors, from my spirit team. I've come to the conclusion that you're not supposed to kill ego. You have ego for a reason. God gave you ego for a reason. The problem is, just with humans in general, is that we don't know balance. We always think it's one or the other. We always think we need to keep or get rid of, when in actuality you need to balance that shit. You don't just keep it and relish in your demise and allowing your ego to just take full control, but you don't kill it and get rid of it and become, I'm gonna just say, a soft ass bitch, because then you just leave yourself too open and too vulnerable for mistreatment when you totally kill and get rid of the ego and not resurrect the ego, right? So I wrote some pointers down in my notes back with her cute ass. Yeah. And so yeah. I'm just trying to flow through these little points right quick. So yeah, the common misconception that the ego is not needed essentially is a setup to leave yourself open to mistreatment, manipulation, and a lack of boundaries, amongst other things. The key is to balance the ego. The key is to integrate the shadow and light. The key is to take the lessons that you learn, apply, integrate, and move forward. That all has something to do with ego. I think we've just been trained to focus on the negative aspect of ego when it's so much more. Your ego is literally what protects you. Your ego is where your boundaries come from. Okay, so where I leave off at. The key is to balance the ego, or it should be. But regardless of the levels of ascension, many do not reach this point. What I mean by that is many do not reach the point of balancing the ego. Many people just go through this same continuous cycle of like trying to kill the ego, and they keep wondering why they keep hitting their head on the same fucking door, and it's because you're not supposed to kill it. It's like you're missing the point of having it to begin with. And I feel like trying to kill it is kind of like the easy way out. Like, it's kind of lazy, instead of, once again, doing the shadow work, going to the underworld, getting that wisdom, coming back to the light, changing, applying, integrating, therefore teaching, giving that wisdom out to the ones that are deserving, because everyone is not deserving of wisdom, or the wisdom that you went to the trenches to get. Ashe. The problem with ego comes in when the ego is allowed to be inflated. When the ego lacks accountability for one's actions, when people or person are enabled by the ones around them, their sidekicks or their flying monkeys. So flying monkeys is a term used for narcissism, or people with narcissistic tendencies or traits. Flying monkeys are the ones that are around them, that enable them, that don't hold that mirror up to them and reflects to them how they are wrong. They just continue to allow that person to destruct and destroy themselves and the people around them. leading leading to things like narcissism and sociopathy, callousness, spiritual psychosis, and high levels of manipulation. Another problem with the ego comes in. Another problem with the ego comes with being self-centered, self-righteous, being highly insecure, and my bad, I can't see. It's like I wanted the darkness for the effects, for the Lord, but they can't see, Back to what I was saying. The problem comes in with the imbalanced ego. It comes with self-centeredness, self-righteousness, somebody being highly insecure and constantly has a fear around not being the center of attention. So the goal should be to strive for our ego to protect and guide us more than it does control us emotionally and mentally, and in return have influence over our actions, decisions, thoughts, patterns, and generally the way we show up in the world. Let me repeat that again. So the goal should be to strive for our ego to protect and guide us more than it does control us emotionally and mentally, and in return have a great influence over our actions, decisions, thoughts, patterns, and generally the way we show up in the world. The ego represents our sense of identity, and it plays a key role in guiding self-awareness, motivation, and survival. When the ego is in harmony with the soul and spirit, it benefits you, okay? And once again, in the ways it benefits you, it's protecting you. Self-preservation. Self-preservation is learning how to say no, how to walk away from things when it's time, knowing when to walk away from things when it's time, reserving and gatekeeping your energy, and generally protecting yourself against harmful people and situations, defending yourself and others you feel are deserving. If and when needed, I always have to add the extra, because you can't just be out here defending everybody. You defend people who are deserving if and when needed, okay? Creating and maintaining boundaries with self and others, prioritizing yourself, being selfish, but in a healthy, balanced way. Because okay, you can be selfish and it should be unhealthy, and then you can be selfish and it's self-preservation. It's a boundary. It's you protecting and helping yourself, okay? Because if you ain't gonna be selfish about you, who the fuck will? Okay. A balanced ego is instrumental for having a high level of esteem for self, respect for self, actually knowing and operating in self-worth, and true, genuine confidence without the validation or praise from others contributing to that. So you not needing somebody to praise you, you not needing somebody to clap for you in order for you to feel like you're that nigga, okay? Gender fluidity right there. You don't need somebody to tell you that. You don't need a pat on the back. You don't need somebody to be standing there clapping for you on the sidelines. You know that you're the one, regardless if anybody has to tell you that. You validate yourself. You don't seek outside validation. This all ties in with the ego and having a balanced ego. You don't seek that outside validation. You already know what's up. It's within, okay? Ego pushes you out of your comfort zone and allows you to take risks. There are levels to the ego, just like there are levels to everything. I don't know how many times I've talked about this in my video, but I always say how everything is a pyramid. Everything. Like literally everything. Like it's levels to everything. Like, so I think the whole notion that ego death, I think that's like the bottom tier of ego, and learning about it. That's, to me, in my opinion, that's the bottom tier, because it's like Okay, yeah, but what else? Like, do you think that that's all the ego, the only purpose that it serves is to be killed? It's a part of you. If you were made in the image of God, you know what I'm saying? It's a part of God. It was there for a reason. Why shall we kill it? Like I said, in my opinion, the whole kill it thing that's laziness. And then it's like, once you kill it, well, the residuals of killing it, what do you do then? What is next? And so, in my opinion, my perspective and my advice is to kill that whole narrative of killing the ego. If you kill the ego, you need to resurrect it. You need to, once it comes back, you need to nourish it, because it's still a part of you. And I feel like if you don't nourish the ego, if you don't resurrect and allow a rebirth season for your ego after it has gone through its ego death, you're doing a disservice to yourself. So just focusing on the death of the ego and not the rebirth and resurrection of the ego, and its nourishment and balancing is where the cycle of falling short will continue. So y'all basically just repeated what I said. I forgot that I had wrote that right there, but yeah. That's where we will fall short at every time, by just feeling like, oh, we have to let it go. One thing I have learned about this life on this here planet, on this here plane, is that this shit really about balancing. Balancing. Like, so much of this game called life is about balance, and not allowing too much of this side or too much of that side to take over. Finding a good medium point in between all of the bullshit, and just being neutral in that medium point, and just rocking and teetering. So what the fuck I just say? Teetering there in the middle point. Now sometimes that's not healthy, but in this moment of ego, that's what it is. To have a balanced ego, it is. And I'm pretty sure people have, when I say balanced ego or imbalanced ego, and I don't just refer to the ego needed to be rid of, I'm pretty sure people have been kind of curious. So this is the explanation. Okay? All right, I hope this helps somebody, because like I said, I see a lot of people always feeling like they need to rid the ego. And like I said, I feel like that's one of the biggest setups of this, okay? Because you'll never get rid of it. You'll just be lying to yourself saying that you did. You went through a shift, you went through a phase. You may have went through a timeline shift per se, but you didn't kill it. That's why you keep having the ego deaths. You're welcome.